It's Eclipse Day. Welcome. We have full coverage coming up. We're starting off in Hiawatha. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but we're going to start out with our national days today. We have National Spumoni Day.
Are you looking at me? I can't even
Yeah,
tell.
if you can even see me through those glasses.
We can't see anything through these glasses.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
That means they're safe.
For the most part.
For the most part. All right. And we also have Senior Citizens Day and Stay Home with Your Kids Day, possibly to watch the eclipse.
Yeah.
I know a lot of kids have school off or excused from school to watch this eclipse with their families.
It is a big event. Certainly make sure you fill up with gas early this morning, as early as you can. Make sure that you pack your solar eclipse glasses. Welding goggles are not recommended. They're one step down from being completely safe. And make sure that you pack plenty of snacks and water, because if you are going to one of the areas of totality, a lot of those are rural areas here in northeast Kansas, and you could get stuck in a traffic jam. So just be patient and be mindful of anything that could go wrong.
That's right. And while eyes will be on the sky this afternoon, we have a lot of eyes on you, Doug Myers, in the Weather Center, wanting to know if it will be cloudy, if we will be able to see the total eclipse. What's it going to look like?
We're still looking at some clouds in eastern Kansas expected. It shouldn't be a surprise. That forecast virtually hasn't changed for the past week and a half that these have been in the computer models. But it's just a matter of how thick, how widespread these clouds will be. What kind of clouds will they be? Are they going to be thin enough to be able to still see it, or will they be thick enough to where you may not be able to see it through the glasses, but you'll still be able to see it turn dark once the eclipse occurs? So all those questions may not even be answered until it actually is occurring, but certainly something we'll be paying close attention to and updating you as the morning progresses, on social media and of course on air at WIBW-TV. 76 degrees right now. Our Parish Hotel, Hotel and Convention Center camera. It is going to be a hot day today. We're already starting off warm in the mid 70s for most of northeast Kansas, and taking a look at already seen some clouds filtering into the area on our Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker. Of course, we're still a couple of hours away from the eclipse itself, so this can certainly change between now and 1 o'clock. But we are keeping an eye on an area of storms in south central Kansas, and also an area of storms in Iowa that's now back building into Omaha right now. And that's certainly something that we'll be keeping a close eye on. While that rain is not going to affect us, some of the cloud cover might from that storm system off to our northeast. And of course, that cloud cover down in south central Kansas is going to be affecting us as well. Now, I don't think that rain will hold together, although some spotty showers and thunderstorms are still possible at any point in time during the day, including at 1 o'clock for the eclipse. I think the better chances of storms will be late this afternoon after the eclipse occurs and into tonight, though. So good news there, but of course the possibility of storms does exist throughout the entire day. Low 90s for highs, so it'll be our fourth day in the 90s, but we get rid of the 90s tomorrow, and we're going to be looking at more fall-like temperatures for the rest of the week. We'll talk more about what to expect with that, and flash flood watch in effect overnight tonight. More on that in a few minutes. Guys?
All right, thanks, Doug.
2 minutes and 34 seconds. That's how long totality will last in Hiawatha this afternoon.
Yeah, right now 13's Daniela Leon is there at the Fisher Center, where food trucks and vendors are already setting up. Daniela, what else is happening there in Brown County?
Good morning again, Reagan and Chris, and to our viewers at home. Again, I am here in Hiawatha, where this small town is ready to roll their red carpet for thousands of people. With me is the mayor of Hiawatha. And Mayor, how are you feeling right now with your town being the highlight of this eclipse?
Well, this has been a really exciting event for us. We've actually kind of been planning for this for months. When we kind of heard about the event and so forth, the Chamber of Commerce and the city got together, and we've been planning for a long time about the possibility of having a lot of people here. And they've been estimating, the experts have, for the possibility of anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 people in the northeast Kansas area. So one of the big challenges we've faced is trying to figure out just who all is going to show up and come. So it's been really exciting, give us an opportunity to kind of show off our community and see a really neat natural event as well.
And you also work at the community hospital, so how have medical staff been prepping for this big day? Lots of concerns, obviously, with just the estimates of people coming in.
Right. And that's been, again, the biggest challenge, not only from the city standpoint, but from the hospital standpoint as well, is trying to figure just what to expect. And so you always have to kind of be prepared for the worst. We've had some extra staff on board, some extra facility things, and just kind of prepared for the possibility of, if you have a large number of people, the possibility of like a mass casualty, with the weather, heat, injuries, things of that nature. So we've got EMS staff down here by the community center where we're having all of our events, extra medical staff on board for the day. We've got extra law enforcement around, just again kind of being prepared for all the possibilities.
And it was a smooth drive for Mr. Eric Gives, who's behind the camera. And have any emergency agencies contacted you or KDOT expressing some concern with people getting up here, or has have things been smoothly so far?
So far, it's been really smooth. There was a lot of concern about that between here. The St. Joe area is also expecting a lot of people, and we're very close to there. So, so far, we haven't seen any big problems. I think the concerns about the inundation of folks for the weekend really hasn't materialized. But we've got pretty good-looking skies right now, so we're hopeful to see a lot of people as we get closer to the eclipse event.
All right. Again, Danielle Leon here live in Hiawatha, Kansas. Chris and Reagan, back to you guys.
The calm before the storm in Hiawatha, so to speak. Daniela Leon, thanks for that live report. And on a programming note, our midday news will begin at 11 a.m. with a look at the crowds and traffic. CBS will be interrupting Young and the Restless and airing Bold and the Beautiful at 11:30. And beginning at Special Report at noon, CBS and WIBW will follow the path of totality across the country and throughout Northeast Kansas. Then join us to wrap up the day's events on our news at 4:30, 5, 6, and 10.
The University of Kansas Police Department is alerting people to a sexual assault that was reported early Sunday morning. Police say a woman who is not a KU student was walking in the 1700 block of Naismith Drive at 4 a.m. when an unknown male grabbed her and pinned her to the ground. The suspect is described as a white male with wavy brown hair down to his ear and a beard. Police say he was wearing a dark shirt, khaki pants, and has a tattoo on his left arm. If you know anything about this crime, call authorities.
Kansas City Parks and Rec says that they will remove a Confederate monument from its current location to prevent future vandalism. KC's United Daughters of the Confederacy Monument, located at 55th and Ward Parkway, was vandalized last week. On Wednesday, Kansas City Parks and Rec said that it would review a request to remove the monument after receiving a single letter condemning the statue. The department put out a press release over the weekend saying that the Missouri division of the United Daughters of the Confederacy requested that the monument be removed and placed into safety. KC Parks and Rec said that the monument will be moved soon.
Time now is 6:06. We're welcoming more kids into the 13 News This Morning Birthday Club coming up, and we'll continue our eclipse coverage from Northeast Kansas.
Yeah, 13 Sean Wheats will join us around 6:20 from the Banner Creek Observatory. But first, on over to Doug Myers with our forecast and a look at the bus stop forecast for those kiddos getting ready for school today. Hey, Doug.
Yeah, some kids are going to school today for the eclipse, and it's a warm and muggy start. Temperatures in the 70s. We have partly cloudy skies, south wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're in the green car for our People's Insurance Group road risk index, but we're keeping an eye on a small chance for maybe a shower thunderstorm for the morning commute as well. We'll take a look at that radar and, of course, the satellite. That's going to be the most important thing to be looking at for today. We'll talk more about what to expect with the cloud cover a little after 1 o'clock for the eclipse after the break.
This is your 13 weather forecast with Doug Myers.
We are monitoring some clouds early this morning. Our Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker, we're certainly monitoring one particular storm system, but we're actually monitoring two as well. Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker shows an area of storms just west of Wichita in south central Kansas, moving very slowly to the north and east. Now, I don't think the bulk of this will reach northeast Kansas, but certainly some rain may still hold together as it does so. We're also monitoring another area of storms in Iowa and Missouri, and you'll notice how it's backbuilding a little bit into Omaha and Nebraska early this morning as well. So even if that rain is not really going to affect us, some of the cloud cover might with continued backbuilding. So we'll continue to monitor that. Now, this particular supercast that we're going to show you, it's updates on an hourly basis based on the latest computer model, or based on the latest conditions. So this particular computer model just indicates this high clouds moving across the area from those storms down in south central Kansas. No rain from it, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods from the rain. However, looking at 1 o'clock for the eclipse, it's looking good, at least with this computer model, just showing some high clouds overhead. This would indicate just some high thin clouds, enough to where you'll still be able to see the sun in many spots, but also be able to see it turn dark. Now, if we do get a little bit thicker cloud cover, we may not be able to see the sun from the eclipse glasses, but you'll still be able to see it turn dark. So worst case scenario, you'll still be able to experience it turning dark no matter what, as I'm not expecting very heavy rainfall. That would be the only way that you wouldn't be able to see it turn dark, is if we had a very heavy rain shower move through an area. I don't think that's going to happen. It might happen tonight, though, as showers and thunderstorms begin to develop after 4 o'clock, with storms likely overnight due to a cold front, and this will bring widespread rain across the area. Could be heavy at times. In fact, a flash flood watch is in effect from Abilene to the east, including Manhattan, Junction City, of course, Topeka down towards Emporia and up to the north. So could be monitoring that early tomorrow morning for any flood warnings that may be in effect, and then we'll start to see decreasing clouds. I'll still hold on to a slight chance for a storm early in the morning, but should be dry by the afternoon. Right now, just some high clouds in Topeka, 76 degrees, as it is warm and muggy early this morning in the mid-70s for temperatures. Winds out of the south about 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll have some gusts up to 20 miles per hour today, as seen on Supercast with the winds. And this is a cloud cover from another computer model. This is indicating a little bit thicker cloud cover. And if this scenario plays out, may not be able to use the eclipse glasses for most of northeast Kansas. But I do think there'll be a little bit thinner cloud cover, or at least a little bit more clear in what this particular computer model is indicating. So it's certainly something we'll monitor. And then as that cold front pushes through tonight, we'll eventually start to see those winds shift over to the north overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, leaving us with a little bit cooler temperatures by tomorrow, but still a bit on the humid side. In fact, the 8-day forecast shows the fourth day in a row with highs in the 90s today, low 90s. So make sure you're staying hydrated as you're getting out and about to your destination, wherever you're going to watch that eclipse by this afternoon. And then we'll drop in the mid 80s tomorrow. It will still be humid tomorrow, but the humidity does come down by the afternoon and early evening. That'll allow lows to get in the upper 50s Wednesday and Thursday mornings, and highs remaining in the low 80s really all the way through the weekend, with storm chances both Saturday and Sunday as well. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed and anything you can do to hopefully get some clearing by this afternoon for that eclipse. But clouds are going to be in the forecast. Clouds are going to be in the area. It's just a matter of how thick and how widespread they will be. And that shouldn't be a surprise. We've been saying that since the models have been, since this day has been in the computer models. So that shouldn't be a surprise, but certainly something that we'll keep an eye on as we go throughout the morning.
We just need them to disappear for 1 to 2 minutes, you know,
maybe a
for
little
the
bit
eclipse.
longer.
Exactly.
You never know. That's old Mother Nature. We've known about this for a while, Doug. We put in our request a long time ago for clear skies. So
and we haven't had clear skies at all with the forecast we've had. So
you should have done it today, Doug. That's what I'm saying. You should have just at least put it in for today.
There's still a couple hours to do that.
Doug can't change the weather. All right, time for a look at kiddos celebrating birthdays on this solar eclipse day. Barrett Lewis Shell turning 1 year old today. Great photo there. Happy birthday, Barrett.
Turning 2 years old today is Tegan McCall. Happy birthday, Tegan.
Evelyn Samuels turns 2 years old today. Happy birthday to Evelyn.
Happy birthday, Sawyer Charles Nyhus, turning 3 years old today. Happy birthday, Sawyer, and happy birthday to all of our kiddos.
If you have a child turning 13 years old or younger with a birthday coming up, upload their photo to our website at WIBW.com/thismorning, and please get them in 2 weeks before their big day.
All right, 6:14, it's time for the Bragg and Wall, sponsored by Ravenwood Lodge, an outstanding destination for hunting, sporting, clays, and more. And Bragg and Rice today go to Leona with her first fish, which happened to be a nice sized trout there that she caught at Roaring River in Cassville, Missouri. Submit your own hunting and fishing photos to the Bragg and Wall on the Morning Show page, WIBW.com/thismorning.
Holding her first fish, too.
I know. Yeah. Proud of her.
That's right.
Well, coming up in sports, hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid and his thoughts on why his quarterbacks performed so well over the weekend.
And the Royals look to avoid a sweep against their division rival.
And that is not the right video.
No, it's not.
We'll have the right sports video coming up after the break.
13 Sports with Jonathan Deutsch.
Entering yesterday's series finale, Cleveland pitcher Danny Salazar had surrendered 77 hits in a little more than 87 innings. Pretty good this year. The Royals, though, found a way to rough him up a little bit. They were looking to avoid the sweep. We'll pick this one up in the second inning. That's Alcides Escobar. He's got 2 on, and he flares this one to center field. A little blooper into a patch of grass. That extends his hitting streak to 11 games. A couple batters later, rookie Cam Gallagher with kind of a similar thing here, a blooper to center. Bradley Zimmer with the great diving effort can't make the play, though. That would score another, and the Royals have a 2-0 lead. We go to the third. The Indians would get on the board as Francisco Lindor towers this one to right field. It is placed perfectly, doink, right off the foul pole. That was his 20th homer of the year. We're all tied at 2. Next inning, it's 3-2 Cleveland. Chesler Cuthbert on an 0-2 pitch. He leans back and drives this one to left. His first home run since April, and the Royals tie it at 3. We go to the 5th. It's Escobar at the plate again. This one a laser to right field. That would score Eric Hosmer. It was his 3rd RBI of the game. The Royals scored 7 runs in this one, all 7 of them driven in by the bottom third of the lineup. Royals win it 7-4. They're back in action on Tuesday. As you can see, here's their schedule. Trying to make up a little bit of ground this week in the playoff race. They'll host the Colorado Rockies after a day off. Then they go to Cleveland for a weekend getaway. They're back in Kansas City for 3 with Tampa Bay on August 28th. Chiefs fans had plenty to smile about after preseason game number 2 against the Bengals. The offense was clicking as all 3 quarterbacks threw a touchdown pass. First, it was Alex Smith completing a pass to Demetrius Harris in the first half. Smith was 8 of 9 for 83 yards. The offense kept rolling with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. He was 10 of 14 for 2 touchdowns. He also ran 3 times for 29 yards. After the game, Andy Reid talked about the relationship of his quarterbacks and how it's helping all of them improve.
He's in there and he's helping the young guys and he's teaching. And sometimes when you have to go through and think about the teaching part of it, you think it even an inch deeper than what you did before. And then there's competition, right? So they're all competing against you. They love challenging each other. They do it from throwing the ball against the goalpost and compete there. Everything's competition in that room there. They love it and they thrive on it, but yet they support each other, which is it's fun to watch. So. That's what this is all about.
That's your morning sports, everyone. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Jonathan.
We continue our team coverage of the solar eclipse in Holton, where Sean and Rick also are live that morning and this morning, all morning long.
Yeah, from the Banner Creek Observatory, they're talking about the big telescope going on up there. Let's head on over to Sean Wheat with an update. Sean?
Hey, you know what? One thing that we really want to let people know about is the fact that if you're We've been talking about that basically for the past couple of weeks. But the one thing is if you're going to be viewing it through a telescope or maybe through a camera, you're going to need one of these. Now, this is just like your solar glasses, but the thing is that it is special for a camera or camera lens, or actually for a telescope. Now, if you see what I've got, they actually left us here alone over here at Banner Creek Observatory, and everybody's gone, so we're kind of having a little bit of fun. And with this lens, this is just like your solar eclipse glasses. You've got to make sure you have the right one and put it over your telescope because you'll burn out your eyes even more so. But then also, if you're utilizing a camera, a lot of these cameras are digital. But the thing is they work just like your eyes do. So what will happen is if you try to utilize your camera without a proper filter like this one, you're going to actually possibly burn out the lens in your camera or in your professional camera. It is whichever one you use. So the first thing is you take a picture is probably going to be okay if you're really quick about it. But if you're going to zoom in, you could really damage your camera lens, and that could actually cost hundreds of dollars to replace. But if you get one of these special filters, you'll be okay. Now, we kind of created our own, and I know that businesses throughout the area that deal with camera or camera equipment actually have these special filters. You should be able to still get one, but they say it over here at the observatory, you need one of these. So these telescopes are going to make it even more, the light and the rays from the sun are going to actually increase those rays into your eyes. So make sure you have the proper filter if you're using a telescope, and make sure you have the proper filter if you're doing it with a camera like Rick. What we're going to do here a little bit later when we're in the path of totality is utilize this and try to get some really good images of the eclipse coming up a little bit later. But again, details about these filters and everything else on our website, WIBW.com. Guys?
13 Sean Wheat live from the Banner Creek area, the observatory up there. It's going to be a busy day up there for scientists.
And on a programming note, our midday news will begin at 11 a.m. with a look at the crowds and traffic. CBS will be interrupting Young and the Restless and airing Bold and the Beautiful at 11:30 and beginning a special report at noon. CBS and WIBW will follow the path of totality across the country and northeast Kansas. Then join us to wrap up the day's events on our news at 4:30, 5, 6, and 10.
This is your 13 weather forecast with Doug Myers.
We will certainly be monitoring this all day. Satellite radar composite, of course, with the rain. We do have a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm at any point in time during the day. There's no real opportunity as far as the better chances of seeing rain at any particular time during the day, but I think the better chances will come in later on this afternoon into tonight. Areas just south of Salina seeing some light to moderate rain as it slowly works up to the north and northeast. Now, I think a lot of it will fall apart by the time it reaches northeast Kansas, but it's certainly something to pay close attention to as the morning progresses. Of course, that could bring a little bit thicker cloud cover to the area. Now, if this were to dissipate a little bit here in the next couple hours, especially after sunrise, we may start to see that fizzle out, fall apart, and then eventually bring some thin cloud cover to the area, getting rid of that lower, thicker cloud deck that we might expect with that rain. So something certainly to monitor. Now, as we head into late this afternoon into tonight, there's a better chance of storms as the cold front pushes through. We are monitoring a marginal risk of severe weather, small hail and gusty winds, but the greatest threat tonight with any storms will be the risk for flash flooding. In fact, a flash flood watch is in effect from Abilene over towards the Missouri border, including Junction City, Manhattan, Westmoreland, up towards Seneca, and then areas further to the east. So something we'll be monitoring from 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's certainly something to be mindful of as you wake up to go to work or school tomorrow, to see what kind of flooding situation we have, if any, as you head off to work or school tomorrow morning. Here's the latest look as far as how much rain we could get. And it's very possible we could get 1 to 3 inches of rain, some of the heavier downpours expected for tonight into tomorrow morning. Farther to the northwest you go, you may not get a whole lot. In fact, Concordia, you're kind of on the edge of getting at least 1/10 of an inch, or getting less than 1/10 of an inch. So very possible, especially farther to the north and west you go. You may not get a whole lot compared to a lot of us further to the southeast, where up to 3 inches is certainly a possibility. Otherwise, highs will be in the low 90s today for the 4th straight day in the 90s, and we cool off in the mid 80s tomorrow, down in the low 80s for the rest of the weekend, end of the weekend. 6:26 right now. We'll be right back.
Good morning and welcome back to 13 News this morning. It is 6:29 on this big day. There's something going on today.
I don't really know what. I can't really put my finger on it.
Yeah, we can't see past the, I don't know what, I'm trying to look for puns here, but thanks for joining us.
The eclipse.
The eclipse. We have been
Yes.
talking about it for weeks and months, and now today is the day. We've got to figure out if we're going to be able to see the eclipse first, as many people. Again, a couple of tips for you. Gas that car up as soon as you can this morning, especially if you're heading into the path of totality. We don't know what's going to happen there, how many people are going to descend on that. However, prepare for the worst. It could be a lot of people. You could be stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Food, snacks, water, stuff like that in case you are. Don't forget your eclipse glasses. Make sure they have the little ISO seal on them as well.
And another thing to remember is that our phones, if you use Google Maps or anything on your phone to get around Siri, that might not be what you can use, because everyone's phones might die, or they might not be able to with the maps. So
with everybody descending upon the path of totality, and these are likely in rural areas, there's not the cell phone towers and the capable coverage areas to handle that kind of load of people, which means you might not have service. And
Right.
number two, while your phone is searching for service, it drains down the battery. So be mindful of that. Have an extra battery pack or a charger with you as well, just in case you head up north to somewhere in
Yeah.
the path of totality. But in
So,
the meantime,
yeah.
we need to see if we're going to be able to even see the eclipse first
We're
of all.
making all these preparations, Doug. Will it all be worth it?
And that's something we've been talking about. I talked about last week. We may not know until noon today as far as what the clouds are going to do, but I really think we are going to have clouds in eastern Kansas. It's just a matter of the details, how thick they are, how widespread they are, if they're going to be producing any rain at a point at 1 o'clock, but certainly something we'll be monitoring. Right now, we do have some clouds producing rain in south central Kansas and also up to the north in Iowa, and also back building into Omaha and eastern Nebraska at this time. But we're really monitoring that area of showers and thunderstorms, and just northwest of Wichita as it works its way up to the north and northeast. At the very least, it's bringing some thicker cloud cover to the area, but I don't think it will hold together to work its way into our area, at least with the rain. So we'll keep an eye on that just in case it does hold together. Of course, if it does, that will bring in the lower clouds and the thicker clouds. But if it falls apart as I'm expecting it to, and maybe just some pop-up showers and thunderstorms coming with it, not as widespread, we will have a little bit thinner cloud cover. Mid-70s right now for temperatures, and yes, I do have a storm chance in throughout the entire day on the day planner. Doesn't mean we're going to have rain all day, but the opportunity does exist. Hit and miss. Temperatures will be around 90 to 1 o'clock for the eclipse. We've been if you may have heard that temperatures might fall due to the eclipse, but I don't think, at least here in northeast Kansas, it will fall very quickly, because we are going to be fairly humid. And you'll notice that when the sun goes down on a typical summer night, you're not going to notice a big temperature drop once the eclipse occurs here in northeast Kansas, and we'll top out around 92 degrees with southwest wind about 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll talk more about what to expect with the cloud cover and the rain, not only for today, but especially tonight. Flash flood watch in effect for across the area. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Guys?
All right, thanks, Doug.
It's been 99 years since the last total eclipse crossed the U.S. from coast to coast.
That's right. In the path of totality is Hiawatha, Kansas. 13's Daniela Leon is there live talking with the Hiawatha Astronomy Club this morning about what they're doing later.
Well, good morning, Chris and Reagan. It's been a relatively quiet morning here in Hiawatha, so I decided to take a break and sit in my good old K-State chair. Only kidding, only kidding. In all reality, I am in the middle of the throne of the Hiawatha Astronomy Club. They are here preparing for the total solar eclipse and are also conducting some research. And over there is Eric Ives' sister over there with the City Commission. But here is Nolan Sump. He is the teacher here in the Hiawatha schools. And your students are participating in a national research. Can you kind of explain that?
Yes, we're doing the Citizen Kate experiment. It's called the Continental America Telescopic Eclipse Experiment. There are 68 sites all over the country, right down this corridor, and our goal is to take pictures of the sun in its totality to get pictures of the corona around it. Yes.
Yeah, it's a very exciting day. Now, these students over here, you know, while most high school students are busy hitting the pool, the mall, you name it, these guys have been practicing very diligently to take snaps of the total solar eclipse. Here's my friend Jessica and Jagger, right? Correct. So, Jess, what are you doing in your computer? And can you also explain the diamond effect?
Yes. Okay, so I'm manning the computer and I'm helping whoever is manning the telescope to make sure that the sun is aligned almost perfectly inside this little ring on the screen here, so you can get some good pictures. And the diamond ring effect is when after the first contact of when the moon is crossing over into the sun, the moon will cross over into the sun and you will see a ring of light around the moon, and then as it's almost completely covered the sun, you will see a little ball of light at the top of the moon. So it almost looks like a diamond ring, and it's really pretty.
So not only are you visually seeing these crazy effects, you're also going to feel a bit of temperature change. And that's when my friend Jagger comes in. Now you're holding a temperature gun, isn't it?
Infrared thermometer.
Yeah, a thermometer of sorts. Can you kind of explain how you're going to use that and what you guys expect to happen with it once the eclipse hits?
So basically, I'm going to go around every 10 minutes scanning, or not scanning, but reading nefarious objects' temperatures. And I'm going to have to write it down on this little sheet. Got to do cloud charts and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so you show me on the grass here if you want.
Yeah,
So essentially, I mean, there's going to be a temperature change once the eclipse hits, correct?
Yeah, it's going to drop a couple degrees.
So right now we're looking at 71 degrees right now.
Yeah.
How much of a drop are you guys thinking? Yeah, show Eric right there.
Okay. We're thinking about maybe a 10-degree drop, but it's already cool out, so it might be even cooler. So that'd be totally fun to see.
All right, just real quick, why is this such an exciting event for this group of students? You know, why? What is your fascination with this event?
It's just a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Like, it could be another 100 years before it rolls by Hiawatha, so we might as well do everything we can with it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we will be keeping you updated all throughout the day. Gonna sit down here and send it back to you, Chris and Reagan.
All right, Daniela Leon live from Hiawatha in Brown County with the Astronomy Club there, getting a little preview of what they're going to be doing today.
Hard at work. And on a programming note, our midday news will begin at 11 a.m. with a look at the crowds and traffic. CBS will be interrupting Young and the Restless and airing Bold and the Beautiful at 11:30. And beginning a special report at noon, CBS and WIBW will follow the path of totality across the country and through northeast Kansas. Then join us to wrap up the day's events on our news at 4:30, 5, 6, and 10.
All right, it is 6:36, and some inappropriate signs put up across Manhattan over the weekend didn't last long as the public got angry over them.
We'll take a look at what the signs said and how the community responded. That's after the break.
You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Welcome back. Time 6:38. A beloved staple at the Topeka Zoo has passed away. Tiffany the gorilla was under CT scan Sunday morning when veterinarians found 2 abdominal masses inside her. Doctors later identified them as tumors, stage 4 ovarian cancer. Tiffany was taken back to the hospital where she underwent surgery, but veterinarians quickly found the cancer had spread. Zoo officials say even if the affected tissue was removed, there wasn't a good way to administer chemotherapy and decided not to wake her up from surgery. Last week, officials said Tiffany hadn't been herself lately and were taking extra precautions with her health. Tiffany was one of the oldest female gorillas in the world living in captivity.
Multiple K-State students found out real quick that the signs posted outside their homes weren't considered funny in any way by the local community. Viewers sent us these photos, which were near the K-State campus. One sign read freshman drop off. The other sign read hope you're 18. After facing backlash on social media and reportedly getting visits from local authorities, these signs were quickly taken down. We reached out to K-State officials for a response. Vice President Jeff Morris told 13 News, quote, the inappropriate signs serve as a reminder that words matter and messages can be hurtful. We want our incoming students to feel welcome and ask that all follow our principles of community, end quote.
Now let's take a brief look at some of the other national headlines of the day. The U.S. Navy says the USS John McCain collided with a merchant ship east of Singapore. The guided missile destroyer sustained damage on the back left side, and search and rescue efforts are underway. It's the second collision involving a Navy ship in the Pacific in 2 months. And President Trump will address the nation tonight on his strategy for Afghanistan and South Asia. Officials familiar with the plan expect 4,000 troops to be deployed, but caution that could change. You can stay updated on these stories throughout the day and others across the nation and the globe by visiting WIBW.com. Chris?
Adding music to your child's daily routine has all kinds of benefits. Amanda Lanham has details in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
Hopping, skipping, and running are simply fun activities for toddlers. And when you add a little music and some organized movement to that mix, you could be working toward preschool success. Music Together is a long-running music and movement program taught in 2,000 communities. Now, researchers have found that organized music and movement classes for 3- and 4-year-olds may be related to the ability to control their impulses.
The hypothesis was that giving children lots of exercise doing this, lots of practice doing these kinds of games with music and movement, gives them kind of exercises the self-regulatory system just like any other muscle in our body.
So children who took music and movement classes were better at delaying gratification, lowering their voices, and paying attention. Parents can look for opportunities outside of class to sing and move. Of course, just putting on music and learning a few dance moves is beneficial. I know my kids love when we have our dance parties at home. For ideas to make life easier, visit us online at momseveryday.com.
I bet. Thanks so much, Amanda. The 8th annual Sporting Clays for Kids event has come and gone. Our own Chris Fisher hosted the fundraiser once again at Ravenwood Lodge, with all proceeds benefiting Tark's Children's Services. Henry's Grill and Baker's Dozen provided breakfast as well as bucket prizes for those in attendance. Chef Allie had lunch covered, much to everyone's delight, and dozens of people from across the area took part in the event and were happy to do so.
This is your 13 weather forecast with Doug Myers.
Well, there isn't any problems at all weather-wise, at least not yet. Our People's Insurance Group road risk index is in the green car. We're monitoring an area of showers and thunderstorms just off to our south and west, as we see on our Capital Federal Live storm tracker as they work their way up to the north and east. I don't think the majority of that will hold together, but certainly we are monitoring that just in case at least a little bit of that does hold together. At the very least, it is bringing a little bit thicker cloud cover to our area. We're also monitoring an area of showers and thunderstorms off to our north, up in northern Missouri, southern Iowa, and even eastern Nebraska early this morning that may produce some cloud cover over our area as well. So this is certainly we are monitoring very closely as far as the cloud cover forecasts getting closer to 1 o'clock for the eclipse. Supercast shows that area of rain down in the southwestern portions, just the southwest of our viewing area rather, not holding together as we go this through time, but we do have clouds in the area at 1 o'clock and maybe even a few spotty sprinkles starting to develop around 1 o'clock as well. So as as has been the case for the past week and a half that we've had this in the forecast, we are going to be dealing with clouds. It's just a matter of how thick they will be and how widespread they will be. At the very least, you still should be able to see it turn dark. Whether or not you'll be able to use those glasses or not to be able to see the sun because of the cloud cover, that remains to be seen. So that's something we'll keep a close eye on. Otherwise, the better chance of spotty storms does develop a little closer to 4 or 5 o'clock, and then storms will be likely overnight due to a cold front. This will bring widespread rain across the area, even rain that could be heavy at times that could linger into tomorrow morning before starting to dry out by the afternoon, giving us a little bit better chance of some sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. Flash flood watch in effect starting at 7 this evening, going until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning from Abilene over towards the east, including Topeka, Emporia, Manhattan, and Junction City. 1 to 3 inches of rain is likely within that area. Otherwise, as Supercast shows, that cold front will also bring less humidity to the area, but not until tomorrow. So even though temperatures may be a little bit, or I should say a lot cooler tomorrow compared to today, we are going to be monitoring that humidity still throughout much of the first half of the day, and then starting to come down by the afternoon and early evening hours. So that will translate to very comfortable end of the week. So at the temperatures in the mid 70s right now, we'll end up in the low 90s by this afternoon, mid 80s tomorrow, still humid, but we're in the low 80s for the rest of the week with storm chances returning by this weekend after they move out by tomorrow morning. Guys?
All right, thanks, Doug.
Time now 6:44, and coming up, we continue our coverage leading up to today's solar eclipse event.
We'll check in with our 13 News team live across Northeast Kansas this morning. Stay tuned for that. You're watching 13 News this morning. It is 6:44.
You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Good morning. Welcome back to 13 News this morning at 6:47. Our live team coverage of the Great American Eclipse continues from Branner Creek Observatory in Holton.
13's Sean Weed is there with an update on how you can put a personal stamp on this once-in-a-lifetime event.
Well, one thing we love about the eclipse is it's going to be a beautiful sight, but here is a beautiful sight for you. I mean, look at that sunrise coming in here at the Banner Creek Science Center and Observatory. But the one thing is, that's looking off to the east. If we look a little bit further to the south, Rick, if you want to pan over here to the south, this is where we're actually going to have that issue that Doug keeps talking about, and those are the clouds. We need those to stay away, Doug, if you can go ahead and work on that for us, because we know a lot of people are counting on you. No, I'm just kidding. But one thing about the Banner Creek Science Center and Observatory is that today the United States Postal Service at 10:30 will be coming out here to cancel that solar eclipse stamp that they've been selling. They've been selling it for a couple of weeks now, but they're going to have a cancellation ceremony for that specific stamp here at Banner Creek. That is, again, at 10:30. That's that heat-sensitive stamp that if you actually put your thumb on it, it will show the craters in the moon. If you take it off, it'll turn black like a solar eclipse. So, but again, it's beautiful out here at Banner Creek. Perfect viewing area. We are only a few miles away from totality, but we're going to be heading north a little bit later to see full totality. And we're, of course, going to have all the coverage for you right here on 13 News. Guys?
All right, the beginning of a very long day for 13's Sean Weed, who started out his day in Holton, Kansas.
But well worth it for this solar eclipse. And we continue our eclipse team coverage in Hiawatha, where onlookers will experience 2 minutes and 34 seconds of totality.
Yeah, 13's Daniela Leon and fellow journalist Eric Ives are live at the Fisher Center in Brown County. Daniela?
Good morning, Chris. And whoa, okay, Eric, focus on me. Let me take those eclipse glasses. Now, these are the hot selling item of the summer right now. And look, it's the cool thing right now. This is the hot topic. This is the Hiawatha Astronomy Club, and they are busy gearing up. You guys can pull those down. You don't need that until 1 o'clock or so. That is when the big American solar eclipse is set to hit the small town. Everyone's excited. They're excited. The entire community is excited. There's food trucks available onto my right. That's where the main event is going to happen. It's at the Fisher Community Center. Over there, they're expecting over 20,000 people to arrive in this small town. I will say, when I drove up here from the WIBW studios to Hiawatha, I didn't see a large influx of traffic. So right now, I think you should be okay coming in if you want to come join in on the fun. We will be covering this city all throughout the day. We'll be talking to the mayor, talking to locals, and talking to people who are coming out of state. So please don't turn that channel, don't turn that channel off and stick with us.
All right, 13's Daniela Leon looking like she's having a good time. Again, a long day for her as well in Brown County and Hiawatha. Thanks for that live report.
And as we will be covering this eclipse, we will have a programming note on our midday news. It will begin at 11 a.m. with a look at the crowds and traffic. CBS will be interrupting Young and the Restless and airing Bold and the Beautiful at 11:30 and beginning a special report at noon. CBS and WIBW will follow the path of totality across the country and through Northeast Kansas. Then join us to wrap up the day's events on our news at 4:30, 5, 6, and 10. We'll be right back.
This is your 13 weather forecast with Doug Myers.
Well, all eyes will be on the Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker today, not only with the rain chance and storm chance, but also with the cloud cover. We are focusing on 2 storm systems on our Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker, one to our northeast in northern Missouri and to Iowa. Also eastern Nebraska, that's moving due east, but certainly is producing a little bit of cloud cover in the area. Also another area of rain just north of Wichita, very slowly moving up to the north and northeast. And I don't think the bulk of that rain will hold together, but certainly think that maybe a little bit of spotty showers and thunderstorms may still hold together as it works its way up to the northeast this morning. The chance of storms does exist all morning long, so with that in mind, doesn't mean we're going to get rain for most spots. I think many spots will continue to stay dry, but with that storm chance in the forecast, you want to stay safe. So as you're waiting for the eclipse to start, as you're going to be out and about outside, make sure you seek shelter. If you do hear thunder, go inside your car and be safe if you hear thunder nearby. Don't wait until it starts raining. It may not even rain, but it may be close enough to have a thunderstorm nearby, because as long as you hear thunder, you are close enough to get struck by lightning, and we don't want that. We also don't want heat exhaustion taking place today. It is going to be a hot day. In fact, heat index values by 1 o'clock. This might be a little bit too warm with this model, but I do think at the very least we will already be in the low 90s for a heat index at 1 o'clock. So stay safe, drink water, stay hydrated, and be listening for thunder, as it is a very small possibility, but the possibility nonetheless to stay safe with thunderstorms nearby as well. Guys?
All right, thanks, Doug.
Coming up, we'll check in with our reporters in the field as we continue our morning show coverage of the Great American Solar Eclipse.
Yeah, those stories and more coming up when we take a look at what you need to know in your out-the-door forecast. It is 6:54, Rise and Shine. That's a live look from Hiawatha and Brown County as the Astronomy Club gets ready for the big eclipse. We've got more details coming up after the break. Good morning, 6:57. It's time for the stories you need to know in your out-the-door forecast.
13 News is going to be live all morning and midday across northeast Kansas as the Great American Eclipse draws near. Here's a live look from the Branner Creek Observatory, where astronomy buffs will be getting a good look at the solar event.
Yeah, we'll also be in Hiawatha, where thousands of people will be watching the eclipse and enjoying local festivities. Again, you can catch all the coverage right here on WIBW-TV. Our Midday in Kansas show begins at noon.
That actually, on our programming note, it is different. Our Midday in Kansas will begin at 11 a.m. with a look at the crowds and traffic. CBS will be interrupting the Young and the Restless and airing Bold and the Beautiful at 11:30 and beginning a special report at noon with CBS and WIBW will follow the path of totality across the country and through northeast Kansas. Then join us to wrap up the day's events on our news at 4:30, 5, 6, and 10. Time now is 6:58. Doug Myers is standing by with your eclipse out the door forecast. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, and we are waking up to some cloud cover right now. Our Parish Hotel and Convention Center camera. We are monitoring a storm system just down to our south and southwest Ravine area, as it continues to work its way up to the north and northeast. I don't expect the bulk of this to hold together as it works its way up to the northeast, but certainly the possibility of a few hit-miss storms are possible with that storm system as it works its way closer to our viewing area. This is, of course, if it does hold together, will bring a little bit thicker cloud cover and lower cloud cover, but if it were to fall apart, we may just see some high clouds in the area. We're also monitoring some storms up to our north and east that may affect some parts of the area, at the very least with the cloud cover. May not necessarily be with the rain, but cloud cover as well. But we do have a storm chance throughout the entire day today. It's a very small chance, but something to be monitoring and be listening for the sound of thunder. As if you hear thunder, if you're out waiting for the eclipse to start, make sure you go inside your car and wait until the storm passes. We'll be in the low 90s today with heat index values near 100, so make sure you're staying hydrated as well. So stay safe. You got to stay safe with those sunglasses or those, not sunglasses, but the eclipse glasses with those eyes. Of course, not to be struck by lightning if you're a storm nearby. And then, of course, with the heat, just make sure you're drinking plenty of water. And then, by the way, flash flood watch is in effect for most of northeast Kansas tonight with heavy rain. So watch out for that tomorrow morning for the commute.
A lot more to watch out than just the eclipse.
Yes,
Yeah,
a lot to keep in mind.
Be safe,
Yes.
be aware, have an extra cell phone battery with you if you can, or a charger, and we'll be back. Midday in Kansas starts at 11 a.m.
Get the latest news, weather, and sports at WIBW.com or follow WIBW on Twitter, Facebook, and our mobile app. Thank you for making 13 News This Morning the most watched morning newscast.